Welcome to Everyday Fitness. I'm Zonya Foco, and with me is my favorite movement training specialist, Sherry McLaughlin.
Zonya, I'm so excited to be here today because we have an exciting program to introduce to everybody. In fact, it has two parts to it. A beginner and an advanced exercise program designed to help people move better and feel better in the real world. In fact, we call it a real world exercise program because it's designed for people that have real lives. And they're both designed to help you move better and feel better in the real world.
Excellent. So you mean all those little crinks and things that we start getting as we get older, you've got a program that's going to help get us warmed up, tuned up to help prevent injuries and help us feel energetic and be our best.
Absolutely. In fact, this program was designed based on 10 years of work at the Michigan Institute for Human Performance and the think tank there, based on how your body was designed. So what I want to do first is share with you the 5 key facts about your body's design that will help you be able to understand what makes this program so great.
So great and different from any other program.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. I'm ready.
So the number one key fact about your body's design is that you were designed to be symmetrical. That means unless you were born with a bone disease or had the unfortunate accident or trauma early in childhood, your shoulders are supposed to be the same height, your hips the same height, your feet the same size, and your legs the same length. And this is a fact. But what's ironic is we walk around and see lots of people who act like one side is shorter than the other. This posture, for instance, is a great example. Do you find that's your most natural standing position?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can tell you how this posture really tells you that your right leg feels a little shorter, your left leg feels a little longer, and believe it or not, you probably weren't born that way. The bad news is it can be the cause of aches and pains that you might have. Do you ever have any aches and pains?
Ever since I turned over 40.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the age thing in a little bit here.
Isn't it all because of age? It's all because of age.
I'm going to prove to you how it isn't. But really, you were designed to be able to move symmetrically right to left and to stand symmetrically. That means equal right to left. And the bad news is asymmetry can be the cause of aches and pains. The good news is it's fixable. The number 2 fact about your body's design is that you were designed to move in 3 planes of motion. You know, it's funny, I learned these in school over and over and over again and had no idea why they were so important until I got out and started working with everyday folks. And here are the 3 planes of motion. Okay. You were designed to move front to back. So in this straight plane of motion, that's what's also called the sagittal plane, you're designed to move front to back. And you do lots of those motions, like when you walk or when you squat. Right, that kind of thing, you're moving front to back. The second plane of motion is the frontal plane or the side-to-side plane. So you're designed to move side to side, like stepping sideways or if you did a jumping jack. That's a side-to-side frontal plane motion. You were designed to move that way as well. And the third plane of motion you were designed to move in is the transverse plane or the rotational plane or in twisting. And we were also designed to move this way. Now here's the interesting things about these 3 planes of motion. If you look at most conventional exercise programs, they predominantly happen in one plane. And let me just give you some examples. You have a bicep curl, a tricep extension, a bench press, a crunch, a squat, a lunge. You can see how most conventional exercise programs largely make you move in this front to back sagittal plane. But if you look at real life, you realize it predominates in a very different plane of motion. Let me just show you some examples. You can throw a ball, or you can hit a ball, or you can open a door, or you can take laundry from the washer to the dryer, and you will see very quickly that real life demands that you can move in that transverse plane. So see if this makes sense. If you want to work, play, and live in the transverse plane, but you only train to move in the sagittal plane, then it shouldn't be shocking that your body has aches and pains. This program is designed to teach you how to move in 3 planes of motion, and most importantly, again, to move in the transverse plane or rotational plane at the 3 key spots that you would do that at: your ankles, your hips, and your mid-back or thoracic spine. The number 3 fact about your body's design is that muscles only learn the lessons we teach them. We have a saying at the Institute that goes, "I'll take a small, smart muscle over a dumb, big one any day." And here's basically the thought around that. Your nervous system or your brain tells your muscles how they should work, and really they'll learn the lessons you teach them. So if you engage in exercises that largely have you laying down or sitting in a chair strapped in with Velcro, essentially that's what your muscles learn how to do. A great example is the crunch. Have you ever done a crunch for your stomach?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and everybody thinks that the crunch muscle, you should crunch because that will get the six-pack.
Oh yeah.
But I'm here to show you how, unless you get out of bed very funny, you would never have to do that crunch. You would never have to work that muscle that way in real life. In real life, what your crunch muscle does is actually prevent you from falling backwards. And so what you're going to notice with the exercise program we do is that many of the things we do are done standing, upright, weight-bearing, just like you move and live in the real world. The number 4 fact about your body's design is that pain is not inevitable. Zonya, you have no idea how many people come into my office and say, Sherry, my right shoulder hurts, but I am 40 years old. And I'll say, that's funny, when was your left shoulder born? Or I'll have people come in and say, Sherry, my right knee is killing me, but I do run 30 miles a week. And I'll say, well, does your left knee go for that run, or does it stay at home and watch TV? And really, in this society, we have pretty much tried to excuse away these aches and pains based on age or gender or ancestry. That's another one I've heard. I have back pain, but my dad has it, and my granddad has it, and my great-granddad has it. And I'm here to show you that many times, more times than not, your aches and pains are because of a lack of symmetry. And pain is not inevitable.
Okay. So you're saying that you really, just because you might have a bum knee, that pain is not inevitable. We can exercise and strengthen the muscles around it. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Improve our symmetry?
Exactly. And it's all based on symmetry. Okay. I would believe your age excuse if both your knees were hurting the same way at the same time.
Okay.
But asymmetry is a key thing. And again, we can get the symmetry back for you. The number 5 key fact about your body's design is, but when it boils down to it, it's almost always about the butt.
Ah, a pretty butt, right?
That's right. The biggest muscle of your body is called the gluteus maximus, and it happens to be right here, positioned just behind your center of gravity. Now, your center of gravity, by definition, is where all the forces come and act on a movement system. So basically, when all the forces of gravity and whatever you're pushing and pulling come and act on your system, it happens to be right by this biggest muscle. Now, you get in trouble when the biggest muscle goes to sleep. In fact, we have this saying at our clinic. We say, do you have abs? And people will say, yeah, I have abs. And I'll say, no, not those abs. Asymmetrical butt syndrome. Do you know what that means? That's one butt cheek smaller than the other.
Oh!
And there are a ton of people.
Plenty big.
There are a ton of people walking around with one gluteus maximus not working quite as well as the other. And you might ask, how does this happen? Yeah. It doesn't happen because you turned 40. There's some key things. If you've ever had an ankle or knee or hip injury or surgery, if you've ever had chronic back pain, and you may not have ever gone to the doctor for your back pain, but if you wake up in the morning and you hit the alarm and you have to get out of bed a little stiff and you have to walk to the shower and turn on the hot water before you actually feel like you can move, you are a chronic back pain person. If you've had any of those issues, chances are your gluteus maximus or your butt on that side simply isn't coming to work every day. Now here's the thing. If I told you you had to move out of your house tomorrow and you had a choice, you could choose a big friend to help you or you could choose a little friend to help you, who do you think you'd choose?
I want the big friend.
That's right. But if the big guy says, sorry Zonya, I'm watching football today, you are on your own, you would grab your little friend and you would move all that stuff out of the house. You might get it done, but the next day you would be sore and irritable and possibly injured. In over 18 years of my clinical practice, not once has anyone walked into my clinic and said, Sherry, I hurt my butt. You want to know what they're hurting? They come in and say, Sherry, I hurt my rotator cuff. Those tendons are about this big. Sherry, I hurt my back. Those muscles are about this big. Sherry, my knee is killing me. Those tendons and ligaments are about this big. Do you see, we are wearing out all the little guys in our system because the big guy didn't come to work.
Is sleeping on the job.
Sleeping on the job. So our goal with this program is to teach your glutes to wake up symmetrically. And we're going to show you some simple signs right now. In fact, when you stand, if you just take a look at your feet, when you're standing, if one foot's turned out, I guarantee you folks, that is your smaller butt cheek. Don't fret.
So I should do this more often and I'll have smaller butt cheeks?
Well, remember, we want a small, smart butt cheek. That would be a small, dumb butt cheek. So we're gonna wake up the glutes, take them to school, and make sure you have a pain-free day.
Wow, Sherry, this is great information. I can't wait. So how do we get started?
Well, we have 2 programs, a beginner and an advanced program. So I suggest that you start with the beginner program and you can just follow along and do the exercises with us. And it'll take you through a warm-up, an upper body strengthening, a lower body strengthening, a core workout, and then a cool down.
Now, I'm pretty fit, and I think a lot of people might be. Can we just skip the beginner and go to the advanced?
Well, you'd be surprised because this isn't bodybuilding or traditional strength training. We've had a lot of professional athletes struggle with some of the beginner exercises. You have to remember, this is movement retraining, not muscle strengthening in the traditional sense that you know it to be. So everybody should spend some time in the beginner program before moving to the advanced.
Excellent. Okay, so I'll start with that. And then how many times a week should we be doing this? And do we do it for the rest of our life? What do we do?
Well, the great thing about this program is it follows a general rule of thumb for exercise, meaning if you're trying to train your body something new, you want to do it at least 2 times, if not 3 times a week. Once you've mastered the movements, you really only have to touch on it 1 time a week, and this frees up the rest of your time to do what you really love to do, like walking or golfing or playing tennis or riding a bike. So this program isn't designed to be your sole exercise program. It's designed to be your movement enhancer to allow you to get out to do what it is you really want to do. And also, obviously, the ultimate goal is to be active every day.
And I'd heard you once say, Sherry, that a lot of people, how many of you out there, your doctor has said, you need to lose weight, drop 20 pounds, get out and walk. But you say many people go out to walk and their knees hurt or it hurts and they can't do it and they're in a catch-22.
Exactly.
So this is going to prepare you so that you can do those things that are uncomfortable to do.
Right, and don't fall into the trap of hearing people say, well, you know, I always wanted to run, but I heard running was bad for you. I'm here to tell you that running isn't bad for you, bad running's bad for you. And that just means running or walking or any activity that you do, if you're asymmetrical, can potentially be bad
for you.
So the goal of this program is to fix that asymmetry so you can run right and you can walk right and you can get on with your life.
And most important, I want to be, you see those 80-year-olds and even 90-year-olds that are just fit, they have balance, they're not falling, they're not walking like this, and they can get up and down from a chair, and I want to be one of those. And I don't want to lose my balance, and I want to lose my muscle tone. So this program?
This program will absolutely do that. In fact, many times the reason seniors have a hard time moving around is because they have forgotten how to move in 3 planes of motion. And unfortunately, they spend a lot of time sitting in a chair exercising. I always tell people, you may be older than us, but you still want to walk around like the rest of us. So there's no reason for you to sit in a chair and exercise when what you want to teach your body to do is actually stand up and move like the rest of the world.
I don't know about you, but I'm excited. I can't wait, Sherry.
Me too, Zonya. So grab your shoes and let's get moving. Welcome to the first day of your pain-free life.